Hello, everyone. My name is Shamako. I'm the program director here at Girls and Geese, and we are back for yet another edition of Ask a Black Belt. We have a really exciting guest today. If you guys haven't already seen, we have Fabiana Borges on today. She'll be joining us momentarily. How are you guys doing out there? Well, I hope you guys are doing well.
Hi.
Yay!
How are you?
Good. How are
You
you?
good? Can you hear me well?
I can hear you. Oh,
Yeah.
it's been forever. I don't know
Right?
the last time I saw you.
Where are you in the world?
I know that's the question, right? Always. I'm actually in Hawaii, so I got stuck.
Nice.
Yeah, not a bad place to be stuck.
No, no.
No, it's good to be around family and beautiful place, and we're kind of in this bubble. But how are you? How have you been? How
I've
have
been
you enjoyed?
good. Life has been good, interesting. A lot of changes on the with this happening, but I can't complain
That's
at
good.
all.
That's good. Yeah, because you're in San Antonio, where you guys are making headlines, not good headlines, but
Yes,
I
but
imagine.
I don't follow much of the headlines, otherwise I get crazy. So I'm just okay. Let's do what we have to do. Follow the rules and we'll use whatever you want us to use and do whatever we can do.
Exactly. It's we can only do what's it's within our immediate control.
Yes, and I, I don't know.
I feel you. I feel you. So, so you, uh, I'm so excited to have you on. You're one of my favorite people. Every time I'm like, oh, Fabiana. I remember when you first came to Texas, and everybody's like, "Oh, you gotta go train. There's this new black belt." And we're like, back then it was like a black belt female. Oh, and let's go. And I saw the photos popped up on our memories, and I was like, "Oh, those
Like
are good times."
10, 12 years ago.
Wow.
No,
Yeah,
10, I think 10. 8,
10.
9 or 10,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember you were a baby. I was like, you were. I
I'm
think you.
still a baby.
Yeah, you're still baby. You're still baby. Yeah, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
oh, so for all you guys watching, if you guys have any questions for Fabiana, just go ahead. Feel free to put them up in the comments. If you don't have any comments or any questions, then we're just gonna keep talking, and you guys just get to enjoy listening.
get to know a little bit of Fabi. Uh,
So coming up, I mean, you came up in a time, and it's extraordinary. Your story is really extraordinary. How you've come, you came from Brazil, and you are living that ultimate jujitsu dream, right?
yes.
You've come to America. I remember you're traveling all over doing seminars and stuff. And you and I have talked about this a little bit before, but you know, your story is of so much hope out there for
Yes.
little girls. That hey,
Yes.
we can do anything. What advice would you give a little girl, and especially right now, it's such a scary time, give to someone to say, hey, you know what, you can chase these dreams and make them happen?
Yes.
What are some advice you can offer?
I think that fear sometimes stop us from doing stuff, right? So fear of not knowing what's next, or maybe even not having the right plan. I think you fighting those fears, and don't let the fear stop you. I think that would be my biggest advice because it's not that you're not going to have a fear. You're going to have a fear. It's okay to have a fear. Fear is actually an alert, right? Alert. Hey, there's something going on here. But don't let that stop you because after that fear, you might have something wonderful. So I think one of my biggest difference is I never had the fear. I mean, I had the fear, but I didn't let that stop me from accomplish things. So when I moved to United States, I was 20 years old. So I did have the fear what was new, what was there, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't let that stop me. And I moved to Washington State, then I moved to California, then I moved to Austin, and not knowing Austin, but I didn't let the fear of not knowing stop me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to have fear. It's okay sometimes you don't know the plan, and I think you should just not take good opportunities or the right opportunities because of the fear of the unknown.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a message that everybody could take on right now,
Yeah, right.
absolutely. So, at what point did you realize that jujitsu is going to be your life? Like, I want to be all about this. I want to work in this industry. Like, at what point and what are some obstacles that you have overcome in order to get to some of your goals that you set out?
So I think it was back actually in Brazil. I was studying veterinary back in Brazil, and then so I had been training for 8, 9 years. And then I started college. And then I'm like, okay, will I be a veterinary or will I like stick with jiu-jitsu? And keep in mind that I had training for 9 years. So I had that experience for 9 years. So on that point, I'm like, I have to choose. And I think the way I made that choice of, okay, I'm going to go to United States, I'm going to stay there for 6 months, see what happened. And then I think I made that choice like, okay, I'm going to leave out of jiu-jitsu. That needs to work. And then coming to Gracie Barra, then I sought something more structured and that give more opportunity to females, to males, and people that can grow in a company. I think the obstacle that I had was the thought, the fear that stopped me a little bit of opening my gym because I was a female. And like I don't have, I'm not married, I don't have a black belt um, male to help me on the daily basis. Right now, I do have black belts that come, that train, that teach classes. I have
Mhm.
coaches, but when I first started, it was just me. And I, one time, a black belt, a well successful black belt, told me that I would need a man to have a successful school or to have good students. So that was in the back of my mind, like, oh, so I need a man to beat up my students so they can be good. And that gave him a little fear. But then once I opened the gym, once I passed that, I'm like, I don't need a, a male black belt. It is nice to have one. I have like Professor James is a big one, like judo player. I have a Professor Benito. He's also like a top pressure, different than me. So it's nice to have those two. But they came little after I opened the gym, after people came to be their training. So I was my own obstacle. Like, okay, you're female, you need a man. That was in the back of my head. But once I opened the gym, nobody ever asked, hey, do you have a male here teaching? Nobody ever asked. So they already done the research. They already done the research on me, on the school. So that was easier.
Oh, that's really awesome because you do hear about that, and I remember coming up about hearing that, like, oh yeah, you do kind of need to have a guy to help,
Yeah,
like, but I think the times are changing. I think that's a testament if you're sitting here saying, hey,
yeah,
it works for me. So that's
yeah.
really hopeful for a lot of women out there. Um, so what first, so what is, I'm sure you have a million different memories, and
Mhm.
what is one of your most fond, or what is a memory or a story that you have that was kind of like a real kind of, maybe you didn't realize it at the time, but it was a real pivotal point for you in your life, in your jiu-jitsu
And you mean life or jujitsu?
In
It's
jujitsu and how it relates to jujitsu.
yeah. I think the pivot point for me in jujitsu was actually when I decided to move to Austin because in California I was um, I was just teaching, training, and helping out in the school. When I moved to Austin, I was actually like managing a school. I was teaching not so much class, but I was managed. So I think that was when I made the transition of being a fully athlete to going on my way to be a school owner. And again, Grace Baha helped me to go all through those phases: athlete, managing a school, learning office stuff, for now for me to be where I am. If I had kept only with the mentality of being an athlete, I don't think I would be where I am now, you know? So that was like, okay, now it was kind of like when back in college when I had to make the decision of college or jiu-jitsu. I think that was also, we will be just an athlete forever and ever, or can you want to be an athlete and a school owner? So, and I'm glad I did because nowadays I do have the schools, I do compete, I do travel, I do everything I want and I can, you know?
Is it hard? Is it hard to like balance? Because you still compete every once. I see you going out there and
Yeah.
competing. Is it hard to kind of balance, having that role as a competitor, being a business owner, being a head instructor, on top of having a personal life and everything else?
Yeah.
Is that something that has been kind of difficult for you, or how have you adjusted to that?
I think through the years I'm learning. So the first year I put on my mind that I wasn't going to compete as much, just the big tournaments. And nowadays I do that. I only compete the big tournaments. But it never it's equal. You know, if I'm like competing a lot, the school is suffering a little bit. If I'm really good at the school, the competition side is like I don't think I will ever like balance it out, but I like the challenge. You know, I think jiu-jitsu helped me to like it's never balanced out. You always have some to move you out of your comfort zone. So I'm okay with that. I don't like staying steady. I like some shake.
You let it challenge.
Yes, let's come bring the challenge and you overcome those.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm the same way. Like when things are the same, I'm like, oh, I need something new to do, something to
Yeah.
figure out. But
Yeah, something. It is, you know, I think, I don't know if you see that, but I think Jiu-Jitsu, and I tell that to my students, Jiu-Jitsu brought me that. Because sometimes you are very comfortable with your Jiu-Jitsu, you're training and you're meeting everyone, and there comes that 16 years old out from Brazil and like, okay, now let me get my and like, okay, now you will see, like, and then you're like, oh, I have to do something else, you know? So I've been done that so long in my life that I got used to that. If I get too comfortable, something's not good.
yeah, something's gotta give. It's about to change.
uh,
I think that jujitsu, so like especially with what's going on right now, I think that, and any challenge that I know I've gone through in life since jujitsu became a huge part, it has helped me get through some of the hardest times, because you do learn how to pivot. You do learn how
yeah,
to adjust. You do learn not to like hold on. I'm just going to hold on to this and hold on, and this is the
yeah,
only thing. And I think that's what a lot of people in jujitsu need to remember, is that there are lessons that can be learned on the mats that apply to life. And
yeah,
this is a perfect example for you to
yeah,
execute your training, really, is how I
yes.
see it, you know.
That's perfect, you know. And then like when a white belt starts, they only have this. It's a perfect example. They only have this, and then you figure out, you learn. that you can do something else and you go with the flow and there is escape and then you're good.
Yay!
Yeah, it's not a big deal. What you thought was a big deal, it isn't anymore, you know? If
No,
you if you get the mentality that things gonna be more light to live, you know.
no. And
Is it-
I think that's a perfect example of how, for me, how I see you is I see you as a woman who came up against odds and
Mhm.
has excelled in it because you have that ability to adjust and you
Yeah,
have that ability to be flexible
yeah,
and you have that ability to look behind the like the presumed role of what you were supposed to do in this world and really just be who you are and do it very well and inspire a lot of women and I know there's a lot of women out there like in California and Texas and all
yeah.
over the world that really look up to you because they're just I
Thank
get
you.
messages like Fabiana told me to talk to you or like Fabiana recommended this or that and so and
Thank you.
they really do admire and love you a lot. How, what kind of an impact do you see your goal with jujitsu? Do you have like a separate one, maybe just specifically like, hey, this is the contribution I want to make to jujitsu? And then maybe this is one that I want to do for women in jujitsu? Or do you look at it and see it just all as one?
I don't see just as for women because I do believe jiu-jitsu can it's for everyone and people get everything from it. I do use jiu-jitsu to help people, you know, to help kids. I started in a social project, a social non-profit, so I know the impact jiu-jitsu can do for a kid, you know, a kid with lower income, a kid or a mom, and then I move here, I see people with more meanings but then you still need the mentality of jiu-jitsu. So why only focus on the woman if I can do more? I can do more, you know. And I think helping the guys is actually helping the females. I was saying that today with my coach. Like we have to teach the guys how they train with the female. And my school, I'm very fortunate to have those guys. You know, Ramiro. I see Ramiro on the chat. Ramiro is a 300 pounds guy that trains with a 100-pound lady. You know, so teaching the guys um, how to live with the female and the female being confident to train with male, we are helping everyone, you know. I love what jiu-jitsu does for people and I'm very grateful what it has done for me, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm very in
Well,
love with the jiu-jitsu. Oh, yeah.
well, it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking some
you.
time out and
Thank
talking with
you.
us. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. How can people find you? Do you have anything you want to promote that you want to do a little shout out?
Yeah, if you're in San Antonio, Grace Barra San Antonio, you're welcome to come train in Bernie, Grace Barra Birding, which is 30 minutes from San Antonio area. Um, Instagram, Facebook, just hit me up, send me a message, and whatever question, you know, I'm always open to help people, and I feel good helping others.
And
Thank you.
you do it well. You do it well.
Thank
You help a lot
you.
of people.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and enjoy Hawaii.
Oh, I will. I will. You take care, Fabiana. I'll talk to you
Bye.
later on.
See you
Bye.
later.